You did pass me the video. Is it okay if I show it on here and you kind of walk us through it? I just didn't know if that's
Yes,
okay.
please do.
I would love to have
Yes,
this because I did kind of understand it, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Again, I don't want to
sure.
embarrass myself. So, uh,
Yeah, this is a video that we showed at I/O.
okay.
Um,
So, let me know when I should stop it. So,
so
okay.
that's good. Well, I would pause right there.
Yeah.
So this is showing how from a small amount of seed colors, perhaps that we pulled from an image, we have algorithms that can expand that into entire tonal palettes, so that we can choose a scheme that's extrapolated from seed colors.
Yeah.
And if you look at this, you'll see that the ones at the bottom are darker, the ones at the top are lighter. And those are the ones that we're primarily choosing, the darker ones and the lighter ones, because we have we try to stick to guidelines for contrast ratio. They're standardized by WCAG, WCAG. You can learn about it so that things are readable. And you need to have a certain kind of lightness and darkness contrast in order for text and iconography to be readable. Like you'll notice here that the check marks at the top are darker colors because they're on lighter colors. You wouldn't see them if they were lighter colors on lighter colors. So that's why we're able to create a tonal palette for you from numbers 0 to 900. And we have standardized the luminosity so that if you make a choice of such and such number and such number, we guarantee that it's going to have a readable contrast ratio. So we're like actually standardizing the way color works in order to be more accessible when you use it correctly.
So this, I mean, with this kind of tool, I mean, it seems like you can really appeal for developers, like you said before, if you can have some kind of way to help them to better personalize their apps, right? I mean, is there a way that you can actually extract this kind of idea and give developers a chance where they could pass something in, maybe their brand logo or something, and get something similar like this?
That's really good feedback. I can actually speak to the team that works on tooling about that idea. I think people have spoken about that a bit, but in many ways, the best way to test this out will be just to change the wallpaper. If you want to see what something looks like involving your brand colors, you could just put your brand colors in the wallpaper and then see what the extracted palette looks like, which is kind of cool. It'll just do it for you.
I was also thinking, like, is there any more customization? So, like, maybe you get like 90% there when I'm happy with this, but I'd like to have this one a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. You can actually kind of go in there and tweak some of these palettes yourself, or is it just whatever we give you? It's kind of that's just the end of it.
Well, everything is always overridable. So of
Yeah.
course, if for some reason you said maybe that this app bar needs to be red all the time because the look of my app has always been that it's a red app bar, then you just set that one explicitly in the instance of the app bar or in the theme that encapsulates it, because you can have scoped theming in Flutter. So it's everything will be overridable, but the idea really is that the dynamic palette, as we call it, that comes from the user, is fully dynamic and comes from the user's choices. So it may take some experimentation to find out which parts of your app are best going to be served by dynamic color versus static color choices that you're making.
Yeah, for me, as like as a I think about a business, right? Because most of my clients are startups and everything. Their colors are their brand, right? When you see certain things, it really represents it. I just wonder how many developers who are really companies would actually be open to letting people change the colors, right? Because you're changing their identity. Have you got any
We
feedback
are
from
very
them?
curious about that too.
Okay, no
I
feedback
mean,
so
I think
far.
that's one of the things.
You're
Well,
saying,
I think, well, but this is kind of pretty new, so
yeah.
we're definitely taking in that feedback, but we want to see how people use it. I mean, are some companies just totally uncomfortable with this and they actually want to set static colors the whole time? Of course, we're going to make that easy. We think it's important to make APIs easy to use, no matter what your goal is with it. Or are people going to agree that having an experience that is customized to the user, that makes the user comfortable inside their app, is more important than making a pure connection to them through color? So color is one of the ways that brand is expressed, but it's not the only one. And then, like I said, 100% of your app being dynamic may not exactly be the goal for everybody. Choosing what is dynamic and then what is defined by your brand is a great way to kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
And we'll have some guidance
mhm.
too as we begin to learn more about it.
Yeah, I can imagine some pieces you want certain colors and some things you don't, right? Like, for instance, I
Yeah.
don't see a destructive red in here, right? Which is quite common to have. So,
Yes. Um, you're actually talking about what we call semantic color, and we're
yeah.
going to have guidelines specifically on semantic color because there are um, colors that communicate usage or purpose, and those need to harmonize with the dynamic color, but probably shouldn't be dynamic. Red for hang up. I'm looking at a red hang up button in the UI that you sent me for this interview. We know that that sort of thing is important, but it may be that um, the red that it is could be dynamic to go better with the kind of saturation or brightness of the palette that you've chosen. You also might be a great time to refresh those semantic colors in some way in order to feel like they're a little bit new. Green and red for go and stop. I mean, they should be updated every now and then too. There are so many different greens and so many different reds out there.